Business Lesson 9, Natural Capital, Book 5, Business English. Vocabulary, Part 1, page 70. A structure that protects. High level of importance. Money or property. To damage or hurt. You need to complete. To work or exist. To make certain. To remove something. Article Part 2, page 71. Natural capital giving nature value, 1. C. In order of importance, food, water, and shelter are first on the list for anyone. Few people in modern society have the skills or the need to go and find those things for themselves in nature. As a result, humans have created another element that is needed to survive: money. We all need to generate money in order to live. Therefore, society in all countries is largely built around this requirement. People, animals, and activities that produce capital are valued and protected. If there is no way for them to make money, they are ignored, or worse, destroyed. 2. F. The value of the rainforests in our current economic systems is in the materials they provide and the land they occupy. You can buy and sell the wood they contain, and then buy and sell the land which is made available once all of the trees have been cleared. The rainforest just exists, though. That isn't making any money for anyone. Yet, as any school student will be able to tell you, the rainforests are indeed performing a vital function. For one thing, they give us the oxygen all living things need to survive, a need more essential than food, water, and shelter. So perhaps we need a different way of assigning value to the world. 3. E. First used in 1973 by E. F. Schumacher, a German-British economist, natural capital, is the concept that our natural resources provide us with goods and free services. By this measure, experts in conservation calculate that the resources we have from the Earth add over $125 trillion each year to the global economy. The problem is an activity that harms the environment, yet quickly makes money, is regularly more popular than an activity that will benefit the environment over time. Recent research by the Paulson Institute found that, around the world, between $600 billion and $824 billion more is invested in projects that damage nature than projects which protect it. 4. A. The Capitals Coalition, a global organization, is trying to encourage 50% of the world's businesses, banks, and governments to use natural capital in their decision-making process by 2030. In March 2021, the United Nations updated its system for including the environment in the way costs are measured. This will allow countries to note changes in their natural resources and give them enough information to make decisions, which will reduce or eliminate any negative impact. To date, 90 countries have started using this system, including Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and countries in the European Union. Seeing our environment for what it is, valuable natural resources. Many would argue that this is an important step in ensuring those resources will remain available to future generations. Listening, Part 1, page 73, script on page 194. What is natural capital? We're hearing about it more and more. It's complex. It's confusing. And although most of us want to educate ourselves, we're all drowning in technicalities. So, let's break it down. There are 3 types of capital: produced capital, machinery, vehicles, buildings, the stuff humans create when we turn things like oil and gas into everyday products like petrol and plastic. Human capital. That's you and I, and the knowledge and judgment that we humans can add. Now push those to one side. It's neither of those. Natural capital is basically any of nature's assets. That could be soils, oceans, forests, air, water, all living things. These provide benefits called ecosystem services, which could be carbon capture, pollination, or protection from things like soil erosion or flooding. But why should investors care? Meet Irene. She's an economist, and she can explain. Natural capital is a vital asset for the global economy, with more than half of global GDP dependent on natural resources. Risks will arise for companies that don't recognize that our economies are embedded within nature and don't value ecosystem services in their business model. Good to know. But wait, there's more. There are 2 types of natural capital: non-renewable and renewable. Oil, gas, and minerals are non-renewable. Single use. Once they're gone, they're gone. Then, renewable natural capital. Things like the ozone layer, forests, and fish stocks. When used in moderation, renewable natural capital can benefit future generations for hundreds of years. But if you deplete the stock, let's just say your great-great-grandkids won't be having fresh fish for dinner. So, if it's that important, then why have we humans changed almost 3/4 of the Earth's surface and 2/3 of the ocean, destroyed half of the world's coral reefs, and put 1 million animal and plant species under threat of extinction? Good question. And we have some good news. Attitudes are changing, and momentum is building. Individuals, companies, and public figures are now calling for natural capital to be recognized as an economic asset. And soon firms could be asked to disclose their exposure to nature-related risks. So as with climate change, if nothing is done, the costs will be high, but change is afoot and gaining pace. Study Skills, Part 1, page 74, Graphic Organizer. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs, and the time came for them to seek their fortunes and build their houses. The first little pig built himself a house of straw. It was very weak. The middle brother decided to build a house of sticks. It wasn't a very strong house either. But the third pig, the oldest, decided to build a house of bricks. He did not mind hard work because he wanted a strong house. He knew that in the nearby forest there was a wolf who liked to catch little pigs and eat them. When the 3 houses were finished, the 3 little pigs were dancing happily. Just as the first little pig reached his door, out of the forest popped up a big bad wolf. The little pig squealed with fright and slammed the door. Little pig, let me come in," cried the wolf. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," said the little pig. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. And down blew the little house of straw. Then the wolf raced the little pig to his brother's house of sticks. The wolf was angry, so went behind the youngest pig in the house of sticks. Suddenly the wolf roared, "Open the door! Let me come in!" "No, we won't," said the pigs. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. And down blew the little house of sticks. The 2 little pigs raced away to their big brother's house of bricks. And thinking the pigs were safe, the pigs began to chant, "Who is scared of the furious wolf?" This made the big wolf extremely furious. "Open the door! Let me come in!" "No, we won't," said the pigs. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. But the wolf couldn't blow down the little house of bricks. Then he decided to climb and get in through the chimney. So he climbed, jumped down, and fell right into a kettle of boiling water. He sprang back up the chimney again and raced away into the forest. The 3 little pigs never saw him again and spent their time in the strong brick house dancing and singing, "Who is scared of the furious wolf?" Roleplay, Part 1, page 74. Investigating your company. You are going to investigate the natural capital that your business uses or influences. Read all the information below and answer the questions with a partner. Frame stage, why? Scope stage, what? Measure and value. Stage, how? Apply stage, what next? Step 01, get started. The frame stage helps you establish why you would conduct a natural capital assessment. Completing step 01 will help you answer the following question. Why should you conduct a natural capital assessment? Consider a wide range of impacts and dependencies that your business has perhaps not considered before, but which may be relevant to your business and stakeholders. Think about how better information on natural capital could be relevant to your company's decision-making process. What kinds of decisions would benefit, and on what timescale? Observe replicability by recording engagement with internal or external stakeholders. Actions to take. Familiarize yourself with the basic concepts of natural capital. Prepare for your natural capital assessment. Apply these concepts to your business context. Step 02. Define the objective. The scope stage sets out what you will need to consider in order to set the specific objective for your natural capital assessment. Completing step 02 will help you answer the following question. What is the objective of your assessment? The scope stage confirms your most relevant natural capital impacts and/or dependencies through a materiality process, from the perspective of both your business and your stakeholders. Engaging stakeholders should be done with care and rigor. Having defined your scope in this stage, it is critical that you remain consistent and work within this scope throughout the following stages and steps. This will ensure that your results remain relevant to your original objective. Actions to take. Identify the target audience. Identify stakeholders and the appropriate level of engagement. Articulate the objective of your assessment. Step 03. Measure and value. The measure and value stage involves 3 steps. Measure impact drivers and dependencies, measure changes in the state of natural capital, and the value impacts and/or dependencies. Completing step 03 will help you answer the following question. How can your impact drivers and/or dependencies be measured? Rigor is especially important in the measure and value stage and involves ensuring your data and methods are technically correct, scientifically accurate, and consistent with economic theory. Measurement and valuation should cover the impacts and/or dependencies you have identified as relevant or material. It is critical to record all of your measurements, valuations, and assumptions to allow replicability, monitoring, and comparison in the future. Throughout the measurement and valuation process, keep checking that your scope remains consistent. Do not drift beyond what is productive and manageable. Having defined your scope in this stage, it is critical that you remain consistent and work within this scope throughout the following stages and steps. This will ensure that your results remain relevant to your original objective. Actions to take. Map your activities against impact drivers and/or dependencies. Define which impact drivers and/or dependencies you will measure. Identify how you will measure impact drivers and/or dependencies. Collect data. Step 04. Apply. The apply stage concludes the natural capital assessment process by helping you interpret, apply, and act upon the results in your business. It also encourages you to consider how to optimize the value from this and future assessments. Completing step 04 will help you answer the following question. How can you interpret, validate, and verify your assessment process and results? The apply stage benefits from replicability and transparency. Documenting and recording all previous decisions, methods, caveats, and assumptions will help with validation and verification. Use rigor when interpreting your results. It is important to test your assumptions and identify strengths and weaknesses sufficiently enough to ensure your results are decision appropriate. This includes checking that your results are relevant to your original objective. If you wish to compare results between assessments, then consistency between approaches will be essential. Checking that your scope remains consistent. Do not drift beyond what is productive and manageable. Having defined your scope in this stage, it is critical that you remain consistent and work within this scope throughout the following stages and steps. This will ensure that your results remain relevant to your original objective. Actions to take. Test key assumptions. Validate and verify the assessment process and results.
Hey, thanks for listening. We hope that you enjoyed another lesson of Uncle Sam's American English. These audios are synced with our 4-book series. Contact one of our professors or join our online course by visiting our Facebook page, Uncle Sam's International.